这或许是格斗历史上最疯狂的 KO 降服。没有人能想到，以奸为锁，居然直接锁晕。被蒙古政府授予功勋运动员的蒙古战神，把韩国格斗一线选手锁得当场昏死擂台。不愧是蒙古的中量级最强王者。让我们先来介绍这位浑身纹身、酷似黑社会大哥的选手朴光哲，外号无面，原国籍韩国，现籍日本。他是日本格斗传奇，更是前万冠军赛轻量级世界冠军。职业生涯打过超过30场比赛。他是一名经验丰富的老将，总能让观众都喜欢他。朴光哲不仅有强大的站立击打能力，同时还有世界冠军级的地面缠斗能力。贾丹巴堪称综合格斗运动的常青树，43岁的年纪依然在万2018年的赛场上收获2连胜。作为元龙第3代羽量级王者，贾丹巴是冠军里的过客，但却是老将中的楷模。比赛中完美的进攻节奏感以及充沛的体能都不由得令所有人拍手称赞。贾丹巴在2014年选择进入万冠军赛时就已经破镜不惑之年。他在被眼镜蛇加夫罗夫降服外，保持对其他6位选手的全胜纪录。2位曾经的王者即将开战，2位战力能力极强的老将在万冠军赛元龙内展开斗智斗勇。
I think there's millions of people around the world that share that very same sentiment.
第1回合比赛开始，首回合打得都比较拘谨，但是韩国选手率先主动出击。
Finds out exactly where he wants to be. But Jadamba seems nice and relaxed, utilizing that wide stance, moving forward.
Boku likes to kick, but Jadamba's got most kicks off so far.
Yeah, Boku likes to set up the kicks. He likes just like flick it out there. He likes that lead snapping kick, you know, just to kind of set up everything and get his opponents thinking about something else. He doesn't really go up top much. He likes to attack the legs and the body with the kicks. His primary weapon are those very unorthodox, devastating hands he's got.
2 veterans in great shape with tremendous power. Swinging right and left, Jadamba got out of range of both of them.
Jadamba keeps.
在站立对抗中，朴光哲出拳被对手纠缠住，双人不退让一点，都纠缠到铁笼网上了。
You know, a big knockout. He's got a good, strong chin.
There's one fighter in this division that you want to keep your chin tucked away and out of range. It's against Boku.
Yeah, Boku will put you away at a moment's notice. So Jadamba's got a really good strategy here. There's a little bit of clinch work. You can see, you know, Boku's kind of keeping his arms in tight, and that elbow control of Jadamba is just sort of gauging his distance, and you can see Boku just kind of attacking those legs. You know, Jadamba's answering back with the knees.
Boku looks no different really from when he was a lightweight. Incredible to think that he won a title in the lightweight division in the One Championship cage with that frame of his. Much better suited, I would suggest, to the featherweight division.
Especially when we changed the weight classes, when we kind of shifted the weights.
朴光哲和贾丹巴没有打出有效攻击，裁判只得让他们分开。
Very natural transition for him to jump into a lower division once they made the switch.
Kotetsu is finding that Jadamba is very good at moving in and out of range, and he caught him there though, Boku, with a right hand, just a clipping right hand as Jadamba came in. Mistimed his advance, the Mongolian.
Now they're in the clinch. I mean, this is a smart strategy by Jadamba to really, you know, keep the space nice and tight and just sort of, you know, get. You don't want Boku to get settled. Once Boku starts to get settled, he starts to use that distance and he can really start teeing off on you. So, you know, to stay tight to, you know, no face, just to really neutralize that boxing style that he has. That's so unorthodox. So it's hard to find people that fight like that.
Crushed up against the cage, the Japanese man, by the Mongolian. Just releases himself off it, throws a knee to the body, receives a punch to the stomach as well. Neither of these guys want to back off, do they?
Oh, they both just come forward. There's no backwards. Oh, nice overhand.
进入站立格斗，朴光哲抓住时机进攻。
Jadamba scores well.
Boku's got that low guard, you know, and you can see that Jadamba likes that overhand right, and it's
贾丹巴下潜抱摔，朴光哲使出吃奶的力气反抗，贾丹巴直接抛摔。贾丹巴的力气太恐怖了。
Used to seeing Boku off his back much.
We're not. He went for it and he wasn't going to let it up, was he?
Nice control here by Jadamba. He's kind of driving that right shoulder into the face of Boku to just sort of make sure he stays right there. Doesn't really want him to move around too much. Pushing the head down, sliding the elbows in.
Why would you do that, Mitch? Why would you just slide that elbow and lean on the face rather than land blows?
Because if you keep your hand
占据上方位的他连续砸击，消耗对手的力气和耐心。
Space, and when you're on top, you want to neutralize any space. When you're in defensive position on the bottom, you need to create space, right? So, by just kind of pushing off his face and then sliding the elbow in, it has that cutting capability, but it keeps you tight to your opponent. You can really do some damage with those elbows. Now he's transitioning to north-south, where their bodies are in opposite directions. He's got a possible choice.
朴光哲不愧是初代冠军，在各方面的压制下还能找到时机脱身，太帅了！贾丹巴光速追上，压制铁笼边缘，他想再次进入地面。
And go to war. Big takedown here possibly, or a little takedown, and he ends up on top. Boku scooting his hips away, trying to get back up.
Takes a couple of knees to the head.
朴光哲没有让他得逞，两位选手不仅仅是站立格斗一绝，地面技巧也非常的高。
And although having said that, he has managed to get himself back onto his feet. Let's not forget that Boku has fought Shinya Aoki, probably the worst person you would ever want to be on the ground with.
But it's hard to keep him on the ground. He's just so, he's moving around quite well, and he's popping back up to his feet to get back up to do his damage. There was that nice little overhand right by Boku, but then Jadamba answered back, and Boku stumbled back a little bit. Here was that clinch to a body lock takedown that put Jadamba on top, and this is where Jadamba kind of maybe, inched ahead in the scoring there because he was able to control, in a better position. He had side control, so he was able to do a little bit of damage and ground and pound, while the striking was pretty neutral on both sides. So at this point, Jadamba may be a little bit ahead of the scoring there in the judges' eyes.
Well, he looks so much stronger, doesn't he, Jadamba? When they get to grips with each other, you figure that Jadamba would have the better time of it just based on sheer strength, but so much of it is acumen and balance.
第二回来了，短暂的打了个照面后，贾丹巴就显露出他凶狠的本来面目。在一次迎击中，贾丹巴蝎子摆尾击中朴光哲，踹飞朴光哲。乘胜追击，再次控制住对手。
Bounce back up again, but it's still under the cosh.
我们可以看到，尽管朴光哲再怎么挣扎，依然被贾丹巴翻摔倒地。没有拿背，朴光哲再次站了起来。
Looking to take themselves up a notch in the featherweight division.
Wow, Boku might be a little bit rattled. Jadamba should break away.
开局1分钟就跟过山车一样。朴光哲和贾丹巴又开始了网边缠斗，但是大家都是1等1的好手，一时之间居然僵住了。
Space and generate a stand-up contest once again, but easier said than done as he's pinned up against the wall of the cage.
Yeah, nice little knees there. Those tight little knees, man. They may not hurt you. They're not going to stop a fight. They're not going to knock you out. You're not going to drop to your knees because of them. But what that's going to do is that's going to...
裁判都在旁边拍手，兄弟啊，打得激烈一点。
Or that quick footwork, that in and out striking style.
贾丹巴要出大招了，抱腿朴光哲，但不是抱腿摔，他直接抬起来朴光哲。朴光哲毫无挣扎就被摔爆了，也是这在空中还能怎么办呢？
Jadamba's shown a very well-rounded skill set here, Steve. He's going from striking to the grappling to the takedowns, really controlling this fight so far.
He's a very accomplished all-round fighter.
He's trying to attempt a crucifix here, but Boku turns onto his side. That's what I was talking about. If you're on this, if you're on the bottom, you got to start moving. And Boku does that really well by turning onto his side, onto his belly, and then back up onto his feet.
Now tries the knee to the body as well. It's still pressed up against the back of the cage, though. It's still Jadamba who has the advantage here, pressing for that advantage. inside the final 3 minutes of the second round.
Nice little knees there by Jadamba. He's really controlling the clinch. You know, he's able to dictate where this fight is going, and this is really what cage control is all about. If we look at the 3 areas of mixed martial arts, and you know, it's wrestling, but also footwork. Nice little exchange there where they just kind of threw the hands.
Almost without worrying about defense, just wanting to land that punch.
See, when Jadamba has both arms underneath the arms of Boku, it really limits Boku's ability to move and to create, you know, he's got to try to get the arms underneath. Now he's got one arm underneath.
Looking for that takedown again, isn't he? Looking to pick him up and slam him down.
Big, he's a little bit too high for that. Maybe there's some throws like the judo, like he could do a possible step over hip throw, but you know, Boku's got a low center of gravity. His feet are pretty wide apart. Shimada wants to see these guys bang just like everybody else does.
And this is where Boku wants the fight as well, at arm's length.
But his mouth is open, he's breathing heavy. You know, you gotta keep your mouth closed. You gotta bite down on that mouthpiece. If your mouth is open, it shows you're tired.
This is what Boku did against.
See, but it also leaves your face so vulnerable to shots. You gotta keep your mouth shut, chin tucked like Jadamba's is. Oh, he
big
landed
right
an
hand from Jadamba
right.
as Boku came in. These kicks are what he did to Zoro, and I think he needs to do a little bit more of that just to slow Jadamba's advance down.
Yeah, but we're not seeing.
贾丹巴右手摆拳直中面门，打得朴光哲有些恍惚。贾丹巴趁机追上去压制。
Good right hand from Jadamba. These single punches that he's throwing, these overhand rights, are scoring very well.
With the low guard of Boku, it kind of leaves his whole side of his head on that left side open to that big overhand right thrown by Jadamba. And with his mouth open like that, there's a possible knockout there.
Worth emphasizing that if this does go the distance, and we've got just over 5 minutes to go, judges score the fight in its entirety, not round by round. So they'll look at the entire 15 minutes.
See, this part right here is so intriguing because a lot of people don't understand how much energy is exerted by both people. You know, a lot of people see, oh, they're just standing up against the cage, but no, that's a battle. That's a constant clinch and contraction of all your muscles, and you can almost just see the person's energy bar just slowly start to drop down if it was a video game. Oh, big left hook miss there by Jadamba.
Missed because of those kicks that Boku lands so very well. Decent punch to the body from Jadamba. Follows it up with a knee. Boku comes back with a thudding right hand to the body. This is a really engaging contest. We're 10 minutes in, 5 minutes to go, Mitch. I know it's difficult to ask you this as somebody who's been commentating and working so hard at it, but who's ahead?
That's a beautiful spinning wheel kick there thrown by Jadamba that put him on his back. At this point in the fight, Jadamba is definitely controlling. Here's another big takedown. You know, we've seen him take him down, control him. He's got him pressed up against the cage. He's winning a lot of the striking exchanges, especially with that big overhand right. You know, Boku's looking fatigued, he's looking tired. You know, and Jadamba is just, he's kind of turning it on. You know, look at him, he looks happy.
He doesn't look fatigued either, does he?
He's fine.
He could do this for another 30 minutes, perhaps.
Big deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. You know, that's probably where the Order of Merit comes from, Steve. Just a complete Mongolian warrior.
It's been a big year for him, and he wants to act upon that pride.
第3回合开始，贾丹巴很少有打到第3回合的比赛。可见朴光哲确实很难打败。
Boku still immediately runs out, you know, immediately takes the center of the cage, still showing that he's in this, so it's still.
朴光哲站立占到了便宜，追着对手砸拳。
In replay of the night to possibly come.
贾丹巴灵活走位，转身后摆拳。
Back fist from Jadamba, and it caught Boku flush. It didn't perhaps have the sharpness that.
朴光哲压迫性进攻，贾丹巴还以高扫击，朴光哲后撤躲过。
Left hand from Jadamba, just landing again, and
砸拳效果不大。
Back with a left hand. This is what the crowd want to see from these two. So enjoyable to see a stand-up contest that Boku is involved in, and when he's facing him.
贾丹巴突然下潜抱腿摔，结果反被控制，朴光哲单手夹头，初步断头台成型。
put him onto his back and immediately passed the guard into side control. What really impresses me about Jidamba is his move.
就在所有人都以为朴光哲要赢的时候，朴光哲的表情却十分痛苦。朴光哲拍了吗？朴光哲投降了。裁判还没有终止比赛，朴光哲眼神涣散，昏迷了。裁判终止比赛。
He was tapping with his fingers, the edge of his fingers. That doesn't look like a punch. You're not always going to see these things as a referee, and that's why he just lapsed into unconsciousness briefly. He'll come out of that. That's quite normal. Certainly not a rare thing in a mixed martial arts cage, but hey, Narantungala Jidamba has done it again. A former champion in the featherweight division has fought at a very, very high level, and he wants nothing more to get right back there, Mitch. And I don't put it past him, even at 40 years old.
That is a very impressive 40-year.
贾丹巴究竟是如何降服迎面已成的朴光哲的？让我们换个角度再看一遍。
A very complete game, great striking technique.
看，他是用罕见的尖角降服了朴光哲。朴光哲这时眼睛紧闭。万幸的是，朴光哲恢复得很快。
At that point he went out. I don't think he was tapping. I think he was trying to fight it off.
You could be right. You could be right. Here's the official.
这一场比赛在观众老爷眼里，算不算 MMA 奇葩 KO 的前10呢？大家觉得贾丹巴打得帅吗？觉得帅就把帅打在评论区吧。这里是你的阿超，咱们下一次再会，爱你哦。